Hello. So this is the second class I'm engaging. This time, I'm afraid, not an interactive class because I have some schedules on Tuesday which I have to keep. So this would be a recorded class. Okay, no problem. You're grown-ups, well capable of taking care of yourself. So this recorded class I can present to you now. All right. So we were discussing the Indo-European family, its origins, its spread across the world, its various branches. So from what we discussed in the last class, you would certainly have come to the conclusion that the Germanic subfamily or the Germanic branch of the Indo-European family is by far the largest branch, not only in terms of the number of speakers, but also in terms of power and prestige. That's what counts. It's a power that a language wields, which ultimately decides its status. Okay, so let's look at the origin of the Germanic family. So I've already sent you a couple of. I've already sent you a couple of uh, videos, three videos in fact. And these three videos make it very clear that the German family's origins were very humble, not the kind of family that you see here. Okay. None of the power and prestige attached to it. Okay. So when we look at that video, we find that around 500 BC, 500 years BC, before Christ, before the Common Era, in a small part of northern European continent. Okay, in the northern part of the European continent, just across the sea, in what you find as two arms stretching over, and in the European mainland, you find I think I can show you the map as well as the beginning of the video. Okay, all right, let me see. Yeah, okay. Let me let me get to the video and the map. Okay. Yeah, here we have um, history of the Germanic family. Uh, Let me see. Yes, you have it here. Okay. Okay. Now, can you see the presentation? The presentation is coming on. Okay. Have a look at it. Okay. So we have this video being presented, and you look at this. I'm showing the map here. This is a map. Okay, this is also the beginning of the video. And what you have here is the year 472. So around 500 BC. So where was the Germanic language, Germanic family first heard? Germanic language first heard? Definitely here. What is today Germany and Netherlands, Belgium, Denmark? All these are countries in which Germanic languages are spoken. Okay, so look at this again. I'm showing you this. Okay, here you have the origins of the Germanic. So at this point of time, the Germanic family was confined to this area. Okay, you can see this area. Okay, and this is the Scandinavian Peninsula. This is called the Scandinavian Peninsula. It consists of countries like Sweden, Norway, Finland, etc. So the Germanic people were confined to this small area. So see, what a humble beginning for a great language family. This was in the year you can see on the top here, 472. All right. So let me play the video. Okay, you can now watch the video. You've already seen it. I've sent it to you. You can see the language spreading. Okay, okay. I'll fast forward it a little so you can see it better. Okay, I'm fast forwarding it. Yeah, by about 150, 168, 1 200 AD, the Germanic family had spread here to these areas. Wait a minute. Look at this buttons here. Look at these blocks here. They show you some of the oldest Germanic languages. Okay, Gothic, Old Norse, Weser Rhine Germanic, North Sea Germanic, Elbe Germanic here, spoken in these areas. Okay, so please note that English has not yet made its appearance. You don't find English here. Okay, this is 270 AD. I am fast forwarding it. Let me fast forward it again. This is the timeline. Yeah, now we have almost reached 400. 500 AD. Wait a minute. Look at this. Here, this is England. So already people have migrated from this area here. You can see the first people who made the English language appearing in Britain. This is the place. Okay. Did you see it? Right. So I'm playing it again. See, the second block here on the top, Anglo-Frisian. Okay. So a subgroup called Anglo-Frisian appears, spoken in parts of England and in an area called Low Germany. Okay. So from this, you understand that these people have migrated from here. Okay. Right? They have migrated from the area called Low Germany. Okay. In three waves, we learn more about them. We learned that the English people were basically three different tribes: Angles, Saxons, and Jutes. And they migrated from this area, okay, to the southern and eastern part of Britain. And then slowly they spread all over England. And this branch was called Anglo-Frisian. Anglo-Frisian consists of two, like we know. Anglo for English, and Frisian for a small language which is still spoken in this area in parts of Netherlands. Frisian. See this? Frisian. So if you ask me uh, about the language which is closest to English, I'll say Frisian. Frisian is the language which is closest to English. still spoken in this area. Okay, if you listen, I'll send you a Frisian clip. Listen to it very carefully. You will find that it sounds like English. Okay, so this is Frisian. Okay, and this is the ancestor of modern English. So together at this point of time, 628 AD, English and Frisian are almost inseparable. They are the same language. They separate a little afterwards. Okay, I'm playing the video again. Look at this. Look at how the English people are spreading across England. Okay, now more languages make their appearance. Frisian and English have split. You have Old English, spoken in England. You have Old Frisian, the ancestor of modern Frisian, spoken here. So this family is split. Like what happens when your uh, fathers or mothers, cousins leave your joint family and live separately. Okay. So look at the number of languages now. Uh, Old High German here. Okay. Old English here. Old Frisian. Old Saxon. Yeah. This is another language closely related to English. Old Low Franconian here. Old East Norse. See, Old West Norse, Old Gutnish. Where do we have it? Here. Crimean Gothic. Where is that? Let me see it. Somewhere here, yes. Gothic. So Gothic was an important Germanic language. So please remember that many of these languages are no more. Okay. Either they have changed their names or they have disappeared. English is still alive. German is still alive. And let us wait for more languages to appear. Okay. I'm playing it again. Okay, it's 1000 plus now. Let us see what other languages appear. Okay, now some of these languages have changed their name. Instead of Old Frisian, you have Middle Frisian, like Middle English. At this point of time, the English language that we know today was called Middle English, Middle Frisian. See, Middle Low German, everything with a middle. And now look at this. A new language appears, Middle Dutch. Okay, spoken in what is today called Holland or Netherlands. Okay, this is a new language. And another interesting language here, Icelandic. Did you see? Far out in the sea, in a country called Iceland. So by the beginning of the 13th century, another Germanic language appears. It's called Icelandic. Okay. So now English is already there, Dutch is there, German is there, Icelandic is there, Norwegian is there. Okay, a language called Old Norwegian. See this. Okay, Old Icelandic, Old Dutch. So all these languages, some of them have just added middle to their names. You have Middle Dutch, Middle Old Swedish here. Okay, Old Swedish, Old Norwegian, Old Icelandic, and what is this? Old Danish here. You see, just above Germany. Okay, a country called Denmark, Denmark. Okay, so almost all the modern Germanic languages have now appeared on the map. Okay, here is 1215. Okay, third beginning of the 13th century. Right. We'll go ahead. Okay. Now look at this chart. Any other language? Yeah. The language has changed its name again. Central German. Okay. We'll go ahead further. Yeah, the year is 1500 plus now. And by 1500, Middle English is still running. Okay. It will become modern English. Yes. Now you have the full list. Okay, what are they? Upper German, Central German. The two dialects of German are still separate, but English has become a united language. Okay. And another language called Scots has appeared here in what is called Scotland. Okay. Slightly different from English, but not very different. And Low German here. Same place where it was. German is still split up into many dialects. Okay. Whereas English has become a united language. Dutch here. Okay. What Frisian is still here. See, the language which is closest to English. Frisian. Danish is here. Okay. Norwegian is here. Swedish is here. Gutnish is still spoken in some parts. Where are they? uh, Light green here. Okay. Crimean Gothic is shown here in this list, but it doesn't appear anywhere. I'll tell you more about it. Okay. Okay. Now, by this time, something else has happened. What has happened? By this time, okay, you can see a map inside. Okay, below an inset map. So what does this show? This shows that the Germanic family has spread to the North American continent. You can see it here. USA, Canada. Canada has both English and French. It's a bilingual country here. And here you have the United States of America, to which people from England migrated in the early 17th century. So by the 18th century, 1832 is the date shown here. Okay, there are Germanic speaking or English speaking people living in the American continent here. Okay, so this is yet another spread of the language. Okay, they speak English. Although the joke is that England and America, Britain and America are two countries that are separated by the same language. This joke is actually Bernard Shaw's. So he was pointing to the differences between American and British English. All right. So this is the new development. But in between, something else has happened. Okay. Look at this small territory at the tip of Africa. Okay. By the beginning of the 17th century, I'll show you that separate map which I have here. Okay. Let me show you. Let me change, I'll change the presentation. But now I'll tell you that here at the tip of Southern Africa, in what is modern South Africa, another Germanic language had developed. What is it called? It's called Afrikaans. Okay, I'm writing it here. You can see. I'm writing it in the chat box. It is called Afrikaans. Afrikaans. Okay, you can see that in the chat box. Okay, so it's called Afrikaans. And Afrikaans is a language which uh, is spoken today by about 8 million people in countries like South Africa, Namibia, okay, number of countries. So I'll come to that. Let me finish this video. Okay, I'll come to that. Okay, let me finish this video. This is now what is the time? What's on the timeline? 1832. Let's go. Right. Here you have the language. Afrikaans. I think I spelt it wrongly. It is Afrikaans. Two A's. Afrikaans. So you can see it here, Afrikaans. In the inset map, Afrikaans. Okay. A somewhat maroon dark orange color here, Afrikaans. So you can see it on the map already. Okay. Actually, this language originated from the 17th century when Dutch settlers went to Africa. So Afrikaans is closely related to the language spoken here. See, Dutch language spoken in Africa. So this was a Dutch colony till the end of the 19th century when Britain conquered it. Okay, in what was called the Boer Wars. Okay, when Gandhiji went to Africa, it had already become an English colony, British colony. All right. So the British had conquered it from the Afrikaners, the people who live in who migrated to the tip of southern Africa from Holland or Netherlands. We call Afrikaners, Afrikaners, Afrikaners. So Afrikaner, the people were then subjugated or conquered by the British, and South Africa became a British territory. After some time, the British handed over the territory to the white people, not to the majority of the people. And only in 1992, the country had majority rule. Blacks got voting rights, and Nelson Mandela became the first president of South Africa. Okay, so the Afrikaner language is today spoken in parts of South Africa, Namibia, and a couple of other countries in the adjoining these two countries. So Afrikaans is also a Germanic language. Okay. Okay. Now look at this chart. A language is disappeared. Gothic language is no more. Okay, did you see that? It has disappeared from this. Okay, now let us take stock. Let us take stock of the Germanic family. Okay, this is the Germanic family roughly. Okay, you can include Afrikaans also. And this world map shows you where English is, no, Germanic languages are spoken today. Look at this inset map here. Okay, you have Canada, USA, a small part of South America here, where some English-speaking people settled. Uh, the southern tip of Africa, where Afrikaner is spoken. So you can see these pink marked areas. They are areas where English is not spoken by natives, where English is used as a language for communication, which includes India. See here, okay. And Australia is an English speaking country. We know that. New Zealand here is an English speaking country. Australia is an English speaking country. New Zealand, another two islands actually in the Pacific Ocean, are also English speaking countries. So this is the almost complete map of the Germanic languages. Okay, see? So here you have the languages. German. There are three dialects of German still shown as Standard German, Upper German, Central German. But this may be some linguist fantasy because today virtually we have only one German. Okay, spoken where is German spoken now? Which are the countries in which German is spoken? Germany, yes, one. Two, a small country called Austria here. At one time in history, it was very powerful. Now it's only a small, insignificant country, Austria, Austria. And of course, a small country called Switzerland. You have all heard of Switzerland, a tourist paradise. Okay. So Switzerland has three languages, German, French, and Italian. German is the most prominent language of the three. Okay. So here you have the full map. English spoken here in England, Wales, parts of Ireland, uh, Scots spoken in a small area here, Frisian spoken in a very small area. Number of speakers of Frisian has declined. Frisian is the closest language to English. Okay, and here you have a language called Danish. Here you have a language called Norwegian. Here Swedish. Here Icelandic, and here at the tip of southern Africa, Afrikaans. Okay, but together this family represents the most powerful language family in the world in terms of political power, in terms of prestige, in terms of popularity, in terms of spread. Okay, now I think you have it clear. Okay, you have the Indo-European, the Germanic family on your fingertips. Okay, now this is simply a what is called a data sheet, kind of uh, a data mapping that you find here. Now, in history, there were a number of powerful Germanic. Some of them you have seen here. Okay, such as Gothic. Gothic was a powerful language spoken in the eastern part of the Germanic map, here, somewhere here. Okay. Now, just to look at this map, okay, just if you glance at this map, you will find that basically there are three branches, or there were three branches of the Germanic family. This is the Northern Germanic family, which includes Icelandic, Norwegian, Swedish, and probably you can include Danish. I'm not very sure, but definitely these three languages. West Germanic, which includes, okay, uh, German, Frisian, Dutch, English, a small language called Scots, which is declined actually. It's spoken in a very small area. Okay, and the linguist who drew this map forgot an important language spoken here in a country called Belgium. It is called Flemish. I'll write it here. Okay, let me write it in the chat box. Okay, it's called Flemish, spoken in a country called Belgium. Okay, Flemish. So this is a language which is not listed, but you must remember that such a language did exist. Okay. Now let us look at another kind of map which shows you the language tree of the Germanic family. Let me see. Let me see if I can get it. Okay. Wait a minute. Let me see if I can get it. Okay. If I can get it, I'll show you. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Ah. This is another interesting video which I think I sent you. Okay. Let's look at some of the prominent languages which have disappeared from history. Okay. Very important. When we study English, we have to look at its cousins. Okay. So I'll try to present that. Another video. Okay. I'll try to present this. Look at this video. Okay. Let me see. What is this? Uh, okay. Ah, yes, I think you can see that. Okay. Is it the one that is coming up? I'll change it again. Wait a minute. Let me change it to another window. Okay. Here. Yeah. Now I think you can see. The presentation is coming up on the screen. Right? Okay. Now watch it. Yeah. I think you can see that. Okay. You have, this is the year, what is the year? 100 BC. And you have clearly three branches of the Germanic family: North, West, and East. Okay, I'll play the video. Let's see what happens. What you hear is a German song. Yeah, here you are. See, many languages appear. This language, for example, is called Frankish. Okay, spoken in the border areas of modern Germany and France. At that time, neither Germany nor France existed as a country. So the French people, the country France gets its name from Frankish. Okay. And Gothic, of course, you know, an Eastern Germanic language. And this northern branch at this time had only one prominent language. Languages like Norwegian or Swedish had not appeared. And look at this. This language is called Old Anglic, very closely related to English. This is where the English people came from. See this. Okay. And Frankish, Vandalic. Vandalic is closely related to our modern word vandal. Vandal means an assailant, okay, a savage, or uh, the conquerors, etc. Cruel attackers. Okay, okay. People who assault or attack others. The term vandal has such a bad connotation now. It comes from the name of this tribe called the Vandals. Okay, and their language was called Vandalic. So Vandals were actually responsible for the one of the people who were responsible for the collapse of the Roman Empire. Okay, so if you have learned some history, you will find that the Roman Empire covered all these areas, most of Europe and parts of Africa. Okay, but by the beginning or the middle of the 5th century, it collapsed. And the people who were responsible for the collapse of the Roman Empire were the Germanic speaking peoples like Vandals, Franks, Angles, Old Norse people, okay, people from this area. So they invaded and conquered most parts of the Roman Empire. Okay. So all these names are interested, remember? And the Franks were a tribe who settled in France. Okay. So French, as we know, is not a Germanic language. It's a Romance language belonging to the Romance family, to which other languages like Spanish or Italian belongs. All right. But the Franks, once they settled in France, they adopted the language of the uh, French, the French-speaking people, just like our Normans, who will appear later in history. They conquered England in 1100. So by that time, the Normans, who were also a Germanic people, had become francophone. They had accepted the French language. Okay, so remember that this is 300 AD, and in 300 AD, these are some of the Germanic languages. So of these languages, none of these languages exist today. You know, Gothic has disappeared, Vandalic has disappeared, Frankish has disappeared, Old Norse has disappeared, and Old Anglic also has disappeared. So in their place, we have modern languages like Norwegian, Swedish, German, okay, uh, English, Dutch, etc., etc. I'll play the video again. See this. This is the first Bible to appear in the Germanic family. So the first Bible translation appeared not in English, but in this language called Gothic, which we saw just now. It is now extinct. So this Bible was translated by a scholar called Wulfila, and that has been found. This is probably our first written text in any, no, well, yeah, any Germanic language. If you take the Indo-European family of languages, we find that Rigveda was the oldest text in Sanskrit. Okay, but Sanskrit is not a Germanic language. It is an Indic language or an Indo-Iranian. You can call it by different names, but it's not Germanic. Whereas Gothic is a Germanic language, an East Germanic language. Okay, so this Eastern family has gone extinct. You don't find either Gothic or its descendants anywhere. All right. So this is the picture now. I'll play the video again. Let's look at the video. Yeah. What happens in 375 AD? In 375 AD, a people called Huns, we call them Hunenma in Malayalam, Huns. They lived somewhere here. Okay. So they attacked Europe. Okay. They were not an Indo-European people. They spoke some other language. Okay. So when they invaded Europe, the Germanic people had to retreat. One important event that happened in the 4th century. Remember that the Huns or Huns also attacked India during this time. Okay. Uh, they settled in the western part of India, Huns, coming from Central Asia. One branch went this way and another branch went this way. Okay. They are an ancient tribe. Okay. Not Indo-European. Okay. Look at this. Other languages appear. Burgundian, spoken in a territory called Burgundy, which is in France. Okay. Another Germanic language. So this language also doesn't exist today. It has disappeared. Swedic, what is called? Swedic. Okay. Another Germanic language. Let's play the video again. Vandalic is here still. Ah, now the Franks of France became a big empire. They had a kingdom, sizable kingdom. This was happening in what year? 481 AD. Yeah, here. Look at this sizable territory ruled by the Franks. And in Italy also, what are they called? Ostrogothic kingdom in Italy. Here. This is Italy. Okay. And in Spain, there was a tribe of Germanic people called Visigoths. Visigothic. Let us see if this video shows them. Don't forget to look at this timeline. 530, 53 AD, 568. Lombards. Yeah. Lombardia is a territory in Italy today. It takes its name from these people called the Lombards, and their language was Lombardic. So you see, the German people have such a glorious history, Germanic people. They were occupied most parts of Europe during the Middle Ages. Okay, look at this. So of course they declined later, but at this point of time, and in the 6th century AD, by the end of the 6th century AD, they are a very powerful people. Okay, see, two languages appear here: West Norse, East Norse. Okay, and High German appearing here. Beginnings of German. Okay, so you see that German and English appeared in history at the same time. We'll find that around this time, a little earlier, the migrants who went to England from here, see, they established the English language. It is called Old English at that time. So here you have High German. Okay. Now, another interesting question. How do you get the words High German and Low German? High German is spoken here in the upper areas. It's slightly areas which are a little above the sea level, hundreds of meters above sea, especially in mountainous areas. In the coastal areas, it was called Low German. If you get this term, if you see this term somewhere, remember that you have two dialects of German called High German and Low German. So it is from Low German that all these languages have developed: English, Dutch, Flemish, Frisian, etc. Yeah, yeah. Here you are. See, English appears on the map for the first time. Frisian appears. And this language called Saxon, which is closely related to English. In fact, the English speaking people are called Anglo Saxons. Have you heard the term? If you haven't heard the term, look it up. They are called Anglo Saxons. And even today, the people of English speaking people are sometimes called Anglo Saxons. Okay. Anglo Saxon attitudes you'll find somewhere. So attitudes of the English people. That's all that it means. Anglo-Saxons. Okay. Anglo-Saxon law. Anglo-Saxon jurisprudence. Okay. Administration of law by courts. So Anglo-Saxon is today used as a synonym for English. So this territory also. In Germany today, there is a province called Saxony, Saxony, which definitely comes from the name of the people and the language. I think it is somewhere here in Germany. Okay. So look at the way the Germanic languages are related to one another. We'll play the video again. See, the term appears here. Visigothic kingdom. That's what I was telling you about. They occupied this area, Spain. Okay. Visigoths. So by 729 AD, the Visigothic kingdom had declined. Then the Lombards also declined. Frank's kingdom is divided. Yeah. This is just a piece of history. Some Jews who migrated from West Asia. Okay. They adopted a language called Yiddish. So this historical fact is not very clear. But we know that there is a dialect of German called Yiddish. Okay. Still spoken by Jews in Europe and America. Remember this name, Yiddish. Yiddish. Yiddish is a Germanic language. Okay. Which is an offshoot of High German, or the German spoken in the German highlands. So the Jews who had migrated from West Asia here, okay, this is it's not clearly established that they were the same people who migrated from West Asia when the Romans captured Palestine. Anyway, Yiddish is a language which still exists. It is spoken. It is still spoken in Germany. It's spoken by Jews who migrated to America. Okay. Ah, look at this Iceland. The people called the Vikings, or they are also called the Norse people. They are the people who invaded England around 800 AD. We learn more about that invasion and how an English king called Alfred repulsed them, sent them back, stopped them on their tracks, and saved England from uh, Norwegian or Norse or Viking. They are all the same people. All they are known by various names. So in at the end of the 9th century AD, they settled here in the small island called Iceland. Okay. So that is how the Icelandic language originated. Okay. Now they settle in Normandy here in France. Okay. So this is very important. Remember, We know that in 1100 AD, a people called the Normans invaded England. Now, remember that these Normans are actually Vikings who came from here, okay, and settled here. Then settled here, and they, as I said earlier, adopted the French language. So, which is why when the Normans came to England, invaded England, they spoke not the Norse language, but the French language, okay, or the Norman language. So, just remember that the Normans were a Germanic people who had adopted the French language, okay. Ethnically, they were close to the English already. Okay, but by 1100, when they invaded England, they spoke the German language, which they had adopted here after settling down in a province called Normandy. Okay, play. So here you are, 1066, important year in English history, when a Norman king called William captured England. Okay, conquered England bit by first defeating the king at a place called Hastings, Hastings, Battle of Hastings. It's called. So the English king, the Norman king called William the Conqueror, defeated the English king here at a place called Hastings after invading England from here. Now look at this small place. Can you see this? There's only a distance of 42 kilometers here. You can see a small channel. This is called the English Channel. On this side you have France, and on this side you have England. So it's very easy to cross over from here to here. This is France, this is England. Okay. Now, today there is an undersea railway which is called channel, which runs from here to here. And this point on the French coast is called Calais. Calais. I'll write it here for you. Calais. It's called Calais. Okay. And what do you have on the English side? On the English side, you have a city called, what's it called? It's called Dover here. So you have heard, at least heard of Matthew Arnold's poem, Dover Beach. So Dover Beach is about this proximity or closeness of Dover with France, and as a point of many wars and battles. So close, you know. A navy can quickly cross the English Channel and land at Dover. Okay, and many over the centuries, many navies have landed in Dover. So Dover is the center of the site of wars, battles. Okay, Dover is a battlefield. So Matthew Arnold's poem is also about that. Dover is a mental construct for Matthew Arnold. For him, Dover represents a site in the human mind where there is always darkness, conflict, people fighting and killing each other. So he gets this idea from the place called Dover. Okay, so Dover here on the English coast and Calais here on the French coast. Okay, historically, the closest two places in England and France. Okay, so let's resume the video. So as you saw in the last video, the languages appear here. English, Dutch, German, Swedish, Danish, Norwegian, Scots, Frisian, yeah, all these languages. Important event in German. Okay, the translation of the Bible by Martin Luther, the Protestant reformer. Yeah, one of probably the most well-known writer in any Germanic language, Shakespeare, appearing in London towards the end of the 16th century. Okay, probably you can say the also probably the most translated author in any Germanic language, Shakespeare, writing in English. Okay, here you are. The language I was telling you about, Afrikaans, appearing in South Africa. As you see here, it develops from the Dutch language. So Dutch and Afrikaans are very close. Afrikaans is today an independent language, which evolved from Dutch. You can see the map of Africa here in the inset. Okay. Yeah, languages are becoming extinct. Gothic is becoming extinct. And the East Germanic family itself becomes extinct. There are no speakers of Gothic after this, which at one time was a very powerful language. We saw that reaching up to Spain. The Visigoths were actually settled in Spain. So now, by the end of the 18th century, the East Gothic branch has become extinct, or the East Germanic branch has become extinct. So after 1780, or from the end of the 18th century, there are only two branches of the Germanic family living extant. They are the North Germanic family and the West Germanic family. Okay, of which, as you all know, the West Germanic family became the most powerful because of its prominent language, English. Yeah, this is unnecessarily included here. Uh, the Holocaust or the Nazi uh, extermination of Jews during the Second World War, when about 5 million Yiddish speaking Jews were killed in concentration camps in Germany because of the anti Jewish propaganda and anti Jewish programs of the German army, the Nazis. There are over 550 million native speakers of German. This is an old account. Now, I believe there are more than 700 million native speakers of Germanic languages. In America itself, there are 320 million speakers of uh, English. In England, there are more than 70 million speakers of English. In Australia, 20 million, 30 million, like that. And if you take the other languages also, German is spoken by about for 150 million people. So definitely this is a conservative estimate, not 550 million, but more than 700 million native speakers speak Germanic languages. And besides people who use these languages as second language, like we do in India, using English, which is a Germanic language, as a second language. All right. Now, this is the figures. These are the figures. Okay. Small languages are taken first. Yeah. A language called Faroes here in an island. A language called Scots, spoken in a small territory in Scotland in Britain. Very few people. Just 125,000 or 1,25,000. Okay, let's move on. German. Okay, how many people? Low German. Icelandic. Frisian. So Frisian still exists. See. Okay. Norwegian is spoken by 5 million. This is an old estimate. Probably now it's more. Danish is spoken by 5.5 million people. Again, was. The number would be higher now. Afrikaans was spoken by 7.1 million people. As I said, it will be more than 10 million now. 10 to 15 million people. Okay. Swedish 9.2 million. Dutch 23 million. German 100 million. All these figures are old. English 400 million. Okay. It's more, as I said. In America alone, there are 320 million people today speaking the English language. Okay, right. So we come to the end of the history and the present of the Germanic family. So what did we look at? We looked at we looked at how the Germanic family became the most powerful language family, subfamily of the Indo-European languages, Indo-European family. We also saw how the Germanic family spread itself across the continent. We saw besides this how some Germanic languages died out in the Middle Ages. We saw the fortunes of various Germanic languages changing. Okay, and we saw overall the emergence of two very powerful Germanic languages, German and English, of which English is certainly the most powerful. And these two languages are the two most prominent languages. Okay, spoken by over 100, both spoken by over 100 million people. English by around 500 to 700 million people, and German definitely by around 150 million people. Two prominent languages, right? So this is the history of the Germanic people in a nutshell. Now, in the next class, we are going to look at how English, the language which we use today, the language which I am speaking now, the language which you are using as a second language, developed out of the Germanic family. This is another interesting history. So we'll look at this history in the next class. So for this week, I think I'll stick to this recorded video, which you can use. You can also carefully watch the videos which I sent you. Okay. They are, I believe, definitely interesting videos. I'm going to send you one more video which is a clip of the Frisian language being spoken. Okay, so listen to the clip carefully, and you will almost think that it's English that's being spoken. All right. So good evening. Goodbye.